Hey y'all! And welcome to the Sorry Not Sorry Generation podcast, where we bring you a not-so-healthy dose of humor and reality as we get our hands dirty with some serious nostalgia and question everything.
Let's dive in.
Hey y'all!
Hey y'all!
It's Misty.
Ani said that with ice cream in her mouth.
She did.
It's Ani.
We're snitching on you, Ani.
I know.
And yes, I want this in the episode.
I'll leave it in.
Yes, I'm eating ice cream while I'm doing the introduction. Yes, I am.
Unprofessional.
Erin says that she looks like she's grabbing her boobs. Yeah.
I have an ice pack on my chest because it is a bajillion degrees.
And my first thought was, it's a cat.
Erin just stuffs cats in her shirt.
I used to.
Maybe Hazel would do that. I don't know.
No, she doesn't like it. I used to do it with Indiana though. He used to be okay, but no.
I was gonna say that is the words of somebody who's tried to stuff her cats down her shirt before.
Well, in fairness, it was more of like in a robe, like, so it was like one and then another, and that was not happening. She doesn't like to be under, like, the blanket at all either.
Yeah.
But Indiana was cool with it. I don't know. She's a butt.
Some of them like it, some of them don't. So,
And so I must suffer. Okay.
Yeah. After that delightful introduction, which I will leave completely in there, today our tea time is going to be a little different because we are celebrating the 1-year anniversary of our Nameless City campaign. We thought we would do a little bit of a look back at some of our favorite moments from the campaign, and maybe have the lovely ladies here who are my players ask me any questions they might have about the world that maybe they didn't get a chance to, like, while we were actually playing it, or if they just like to know some secrets or some things that aren't secret but they might think are secret and that aren't really secrets. So just some of that.
Okay.
They're not like top secret, I guess, is what
top secrets. Like, you might ask me about a character and I could tell you all kinds of things about them. Then you might ask me about a different character and be like, can't tell you that. So, don't know unless you ask. So, but, they can ask me things about what they've encountered, the lore, history, things that they will encounter, stuff like that, or whatever. But we are going to kick it off with a look back at some of our favorite moments from throughout the campaign. And I thought we'd just kind of go around and everybody, like, just go from hopping from one to the other and just share different ones. So, who would like to start, or would you like me to start?
You're the DM, you start.
I have a couple, but yeah.
Okay.
I have some ready, so...
Okay,
I mean,
Erin, you go for it. Kick it off.
All right. So, my first... I have one that's more of, like, a happier moment, and then one that's not sad or anything, but it's just more of a serious, plot-driven moment.
Okay.
Okay, so first moment that I liked was our first introduction to Sir Goosington when he fell asleep on Valkaria.
It's true.
And
no matter what you did, Val did not wake up.
Despite all efforts to the contrary, we could not rouse her from her sleep. Not by poking her with a stick. And they were all like 2s, and like she would not wake up. She kind of like
every roll was under a 10. Like every single roll from everyone, from me, from Erin, from Ani, all of it was just under 10s, and just could not wake Valkaria up if a bomb had fucking exploded next to her.
And so she got
even her own snoring wouldn't wake her up.
Nothing we could do could wake her up, and that goose just went everywhere, wandering over and under and through and just on top of her, took a nap on top of her.
Was hissing at anybody else that got close, it's just like, but no, the purple one makes a good bed.
Yeah. And eventually
not a good fiance, but a good bed.
Do you want to be engaged to Sir Goosington? Like,
no. Well,
I can change a plot.
I do have a note in my book that says Goosaria is endgame.
I forgot about Goosaria.
So yeah, no. So
we don't know Goosington's entire story. He could be a morph into some really hot dude. Who knows?
No, I think it's definitely a goose all the way through.
But we did discuss a Goosaria wedding at one point. I think there was some like dressing up that was going to be involved at her wedding.
God.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Maybe that'll be part of a Fever Dream side quest one day.
A really special one shot that you guys do. Just the Goosaria wedding.
Very special.
Mm-hmm.
And Valkaria just wakes up from having taken way too many fantasy drugs at the end of it, like, woo!
Val decided she was gonna go rummaging into Aunt Jucinda's stash.
Yeah, and just took one of everything.
Doesn't know what the hell it is. It just takes one of everything. It's like, what can go wrong?
Yeah, and what went wrong is marrying Goosey.
Yep.
And she's like, well, I didn't know I was kinky in that way.
I think Valkaria would wake up very concerned about her subconscious.
No, yeah, like, the rest of the day would be like, am I really like that? What does this mean? What does this dream mean?
Really staring at Goosey after that, like, huh?
Maybe not comfortable having him sit on her lap for a bit.
Yeah.
Did we? Please tell me we didn't. Did we?
It's like,
and then everyone is just watching her like, why are you acting so goddamn weird?
It's like, and what are you going to tell them? That you had a dream of getting married to Sir Goosington? Because that's not something you should tell Jazara and Asha at all.
No.
Because you'll never hear the end of that.
No.
I'm never gonna hear the end of having fish in my bra. All right?
Oh yeah, no.
You made a choice, sweetie.
It's not even Valkaria that's going to hear about that for the rest of her life. It is Ani who is going to hear about that for the rest of her life.
I mean, you have a fish bag and fish pens. I don't know what else to tell you.
That is one of my favorite things that has happened in this campaign is misunderstanding where Valkaria keeps her fish turns into in her bra.
You grabbed your boobs when you were talking about where to get
it. Okay, no, in my defense, I went, it's here because I'm thinking there's a bag satchel thing.
And you grabbed your boobs, yeah.
This is not where the satchel goes, honey.
Is that what I really did that? I thought I did this. Oh, okay.
You went like this, and you just had it around your chest. And that's why you got so derailed. Like, if you listen to that whole episode, it just gets so derailed in that moment.
Yep.
But I do love that I was told that I should be expecting a gift coming soon to me that both of you worked on together. I'm like, I'm terrified. Mm-hmm. And then comes the fish bag, which is just the bass. And then when you turn it inside out, it's fish guts.
Yep.
And guess what I keep in there?
Actually, that part was a surprise to us, too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I keep my fish pens in there. Yeah. I love it.
Oh, yeah. And then, like, for the next several episodes, every time we talked about the fish, you would pull it out and go... It's just shit.
It's within arm's reach from her, so...
I know.
Just the chaos of it.
There it is. Get it closer to the mic. Make it make more noise.
There you go. Yep. Mm-hmm. Honestly, best thing I've ever bought. Best gift I've ever given. 100%. Like, just, yep. No, you will never, ever. Like, one day, way in the future, maybe, like, I just need you to get, like, a very small tattoo of a fish, just, like, right on your boob, like, right there. Like a frozen fish, just right there.
No, you know what you need to do? Is you need to, like, put it under your boob, so that when you lift up your boob, there's just a little fish. And
there's always going to be a fish in your bra.
And everyone's like, why do you have this tattoo? And then you'd have to explain the whole fucking story.
Uh-huh.
So I can just tell Dave to add that to my tattoos.
A frozen fish, right there. And so there's always going to be a frozen fish in your bra. At least this one won't smell. Let's be
well, depending on what she does that day, it might. It very well might smell.
Very true. Hopefully it won't smell like rotten roasted fish, though. If it does,
it won't smell like death. Well, that's a separate issue, but it won't smell like death.
It won't smell like death. Fact.
Mm-hmm. By the way, did you tell Misty that she's on the shit list too?
What?
Oh no, I did not. Yeah, you're also on my mom's shit list.
Me? Why?
Yeah.
Her face. Why? I'm sorry. Because I got this, right? And so she's mad at me for getting another tattoo because it means Ani will get another tattoo. But then
I don't have any tattoos.
Ani made the mistake of saying that she's going to get the Cyndaquil with you.
Okay, well, we can't do that anymore because I can't have your mom mad at me. She will kill me. And my life is not worth that.
I think she'll kill Ani first. You'll have time to run.
I cannot have Ani's mom mad at me. Nope. Nope. I have to live to the end of this campaign at the very least. Like, no.
Don't worry.
Can't do that. Can't do it.
She just hates you, that's all.
No.
She loves you, but she hates you.
She's not big fond of me right now either.
I'll have to send her something.
And then I think it was the most hilarious statement because she said something to the effect of she's gonna get a matching tattoo with all of her friends. She's not gonna have any skin left. And Ani looks at us dead ass and goes, I don't have that many friends. Shut the fuck up!
First of all, yes, you do.
You do.
Yeah, you do. Like, Jesus Christ. Girl. you can fill a college theater classroom. Like, jeez.
Mm-hmm. No, I can't!
Yeah, you can. Because you have so many fucking friends, I can't keep track of most of them.
No, but I don't have enough that'll get tattoos with me.
Like, girl, I have 3. There 4. 3, and then 1 definitely on severe probation. Like, I couldn't fill, like, a bench. And you over there, you could fill classrooms, plural.
I know.
I don't even know that many people. Like, if we hold your wedding right now, it'll have to be a decent size, like a big venue. Girl, I could get married at a courthouse and they'd ask me if I have enough people for witnesses. Like, fuck.
It's like that one. It's like the video that I sent you, that Lindsay sent to me. Here, let me send it to you, Misty.
It's just like, no,
my friend Lindsay just
like, many friends.
You know what?
I said that exact thing in front of her mother, and her mother just looks at me like,
exactly. I don't know where that idea came from, but
it's wrong.
It is absolutely incorrect.
All right, we got fish. We got Sir Goosey. Misty, you wanna?
Did one of you send me a video of a pickle soft serve?
Yes.
That would be the other one. That's not me.
My friend sent it to me, and I'm like, they must all suffer with me.
I like pickles, but that's a crime. That's a war crime.
That's a pickle popcorn.
That's a war crime.
Yeah.
No, okay.
Now see what I didn't understand is and popcorn soft serve. Okay, I can read.
Yes.
So we've got Aaron's favorite moment. I'm assuming the fish in the bra was Ani's favorite moment.
Yep.
One of them,
the one that'll live in her head anyway.
Mm-hmm. The one that will haunt her for the rest of her life.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Of her born days.
Oh, yes. Yep. Oh, one of my favorite moments. I would have to say, along with Aaron, like, I've got one that's, like, funny, and then I have one that's just, like, not as funny, but still, like, it was important. I think one of my, like, favorite moments that was funny was Val getting stuck in a hole in the cave. Like directly after the fish incident of like when you traumatize that elf, which is another one of my favorite moments, mind you. It's really just like a long 20-minute.
Also a war crime, I think.
Yeah,
That fish incident.
Yeah, I definitely think because that was also one of my favorite moments. But like the thing I love about the whole is like you're both everybody, all three of them are like in a cave and you're in the same room, and Asha you falls into a pit, and then Valkaria is looking for other ones, and she's got her staff and she finds it and like it collapses, but she's not in it and whatever. She like looks in it and then just decides on her own to jump into it despite being in an ice cave. Gets to the bottom of this like 10-foot deep hole, looks around, obviously doesn't see anything, which she could have done that same perception check from above it, and she just did not. She just went into the hole and then figures out there's nothing there, goes to get out of it, leaps, jumps, hits the wall with her claws, and gets about a foot up and just gets stuck in the wall. And it's just, and I just have the most vivid picture of like Valkaria nose to this ice cave wall, like limbs spread and like her claws out like this and just tail swishing rapidly back and forth as she is stuck in this wall. And then the immediate like using your mage hand, and you were very smart, you wanted to use your mage hand to like tie a rope to the top so you could pull yourself out, and like the perception check you did was really good. I remember it was an 18, and one of my favorite things I've ever said to you was just that, yeah, you rolled an 18, which is really good, so you're certain that you don't see anything to tie the rope to. And I love that.
You are absolutely certain that you are not doing well right now.
The best part of it was the combination of Ani's face and just Erin's reaction of just losing her shit, and just Ani just looking like suffering. It was the best combination.
Like the hole had happened to Asha, right? Like it happened, and then Val chose her hole. It's like, and so like Asha's just like she needs new friends. That was the moment she thought she needed new friends.
Yeah, but it was one of my favorite moments because I just loved being like, yeah, you're certain you don't see anything, and just being stuck in the wall. Yep. One of my
and then that was one of first of many times where Asha went and sat very separate from other people.
Yep. Asha had a moment that day when she questioned her whole life. And like
every single life choice she's made that's brought her to this moment.
Which, and I'll save like the elf fish incident like as we do another round, but like that was also one of my favorite ones. You guys have other favorite moments?
Now this is the other one that's not as funny, but it was just kind of one of the coolest. Was Asha's dream. Where she kind of encounters the Moonweaver. I don't want to say in the flesh, but like the embodiment of the Moonweaver. Because it was just, I think it was a great bit of storytelling on our illustrious DM's part. Because it was one of the time, I mean, like, as I've played more and more, I'm getting better at like picturing everything that's going on, right? Like, but like that was one of the times where it's like I saw everything like it was a movie. I felt very transported, and it was like, this is a big fucking plot point.
I loved creating that moment too. Like designing it was so much fun.
Well, you should talk about that because that was going to be one of my questions.
Yeah.
Or do we want to like save that for like a little bit later?
Oh no, go for it. I want to hear it.
Yeah. It was definitely like I had come up with it, I think, as I was working on, because I try to plan like a session or two out as we go, and then when we end a session, I have a better idea of what's going to happen in the next one. So it was between the sessions when I decided that I wanted to wrap in part of like an overarching stuff that's going to happen for Asha later. And I wanted to start because Asha's been having things happen to her recently. Like when you guys were in that cave fighting the cult and everything like that, there was like everything turned red and all that too. So, and like she's been feeling the Moonweaver's presence a lot more, and like it's a lot for Asha to see that second moon and like just realize that it's there. So I want it to, as we go through it, to be like an overarching thing for her. And I wanted like the when you talk about like religion and stuff like that, it's always like really vague and like in the concept of like nobody's gonna go around meeting Jesus, not really. But in D&D, you get that privilege of like meeting and communing with like your gods and stuff like that. And there's spells you can do to like get divine favor and have literal divine intervention and things like that you can do. And so I wanted Asha to have this sense, because as she goes on, her connection with the Moonweaver is going to be tested, but also she's going to have to discover more of herself too. And so when I was designing it and I was trying to figure out like how I wanted you to interact with the Moonweaver for the very first time, I just thought to myself, I want it to be something that it's just Asha. Like, I don't want anybody else to be involved. I just wanted it just to be Asha, but also to be something both profound and a little terrifying at the same time, because you're in space, you're meeting a god for the first time, and you're literally staring at an entire moon as something shakes in it, and you're watching celestial divine chains just start to break apart. And it's a little freaky. And it was something I
think any one of those three things would have been enough to, set her off her game. But you get all
you get all three.
Yeah. And like the concept of like dealing with the moon and what's going on with it, like I knew was something that was going to come into play later, but I've decided to like add it in stages, and I've spread it out a little more. It was one of the things I had been working on, and I'm just like, I like the, and like coming up with it, and the whole idea for it is I wanted it to be really visually appealing, but I just wanted it to be special just for Aaron, because I wanted it to be something like that Valkaria is not involved in, that Jazara is not involved in. It's just like a one-on-one for Asha and the Moonweaver to have going on, because it's something that the Moonweaver has tasked and set forth in front of just Asha. Like, all of you have been set forth with something very specific of like trying to save the city and everything like that, and Val has her own like mission of like, it's super important for her to save the city because it's hers, and like she's going to inherit rulership over it. But Asha's has something now that's very different, and it might conflict with what you guys go to do, and it might help it, and you don't really know. But it was something that when I made it, I just wanted it to be something very profound in that moment, just for both Asha and Aaron. So, and it was very like, I had a very specific picture of Rudis and those chains at that moment, and it took me, that image that I made for that episode took me so long to figure out what those chains were going to look like, because I have such a very specific idea of what the surface of Rudis in that moment looks like. So it was a long it was one of those moments that I really wish I knew how to draw, because I would have drawn something very specific. So
yeah.
Val would like to know where the hell you came up with her fiance.
I came up with her fiance in an airport. An airport in Boston. That was one of the that was one of the things when I made the wild magic table. I made it. I did make it like over like a couple of. I made it over a couple of days, but most of it I was sitting waiting for my flight coming back from Canada when I was sitting in Boston airport, and I wrote a vast majority of it. And that was the thing I had shown like my mom. And she was like, "You sure you like these people?" And like one of you getting engaged to a creature at the time, I think I just had creature on there, was one of the first ones that I wrote, and it was easily the top one I wanted somebody to roll, and I just didn't want it to be Jazara. But picking a Knoll was me like Googling fantasy D&D creatures and just coming up with the freakiest looking motherfucker I could find and going from there, because that one was that I just so wanted you. And like, I had the details of what they were going to be like and what the mom was going to be like for so long, and I was so excited, and it was one of the last times you guys used the wild magic table, and I'm like, we have to do this, and we have to do it now. But I'm so glad it was Valkaria. I was
you
so
told
glad.
You told us that bit about your mom going, are you sure you like these? Are
I
you
remember
sure?
that, yeah.
Yeah,
I remember
been
that
a while.
months and months before.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I made that.
It manifested into
Yeah.
whatever the fuck that was.
Yeah, and it's been like a really, and I've had like all of that set and what was going to happen with you when you rolled that since you guys encountered the like wild magic for the first time. Like I had all of that set before, so like I've been waiting for somebody to roll that fucking number for so long, and it was such.
Of course, it's me.
I really wanted it to be you, though. Like I knew Asha would just suffer, and Honey and Valkaria would just be like, "The fuck is happening to me right now?" So I really wanted
Asha would
it.
just kind of pray it would go away.
And Jazara would just fight, like she'd just try to kill him.
Jazara would just flat out kill him.
Yeah, and it's just she'd just be like, wait until he was done being useful because he did start fighting your enemies for you after he was done fighting Orvo. He did try to fight Orvo first, but like when he was done with that, like he was actually being useful. So like she would have like gotten rid of him after that. But Val just choice, and I was like, yes. So there was only a couple that I really wanted to happen to specific people, and it more or less did. Like the other one that I wanted to happen for Val was the believing they were a dragon when they're not really a dragon. Because I could just so picture that so well of just standing there going
and trying to breathe fire, and it's just not.
I have such a vivid picture in my mind of that. It's just like, yeah, I really wanted it to be Val, and it was Val. Yes.
What she's saying is that Ani's a little more crazy, and so she'll do the scenario a little bit better. Whereas Asha, i.e. Aaron, will only suffer.
Yeah, and like there's ones that are amusing for like that I made specifically for like Asha, and I thought like Aaron would be like, the fuck is that? Like the one where you accidentally had Thunderstep cast on you and you were just suddenly teleported in a giant burst of lightning, and it's just like, okay, that's weird. Yeah, but then there's turning in your mind into a dragon and just going flappy flappy. It's just
one of my favorite. One of my favorite moments is Asha completely losing her shit and tearing into someone's throat.
Yeah, that was really cool. I liked that moment. That one was really good. She had
to bust that out sometime, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was Asha really leaning into that vampire nature that she has too, which we haven't explored a whole lot yet. So
no,
yeah,
so she's been keeping that under wraps. I mean, it kind of goes with that whole scenario though, where like she was stressed.
Yeah,
she'd had enough.
Yeah. Because I believe that was the boat fight, was it
not? Yeah, exactly. And I think that's one of the fights I've been the most stressed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I realized that any of us could die at any time, and that death saving throws were a thing. But like that was kind of the toughest one because I had this plan of like, because Asha had fallen into the water, and like I knew what I needed to do to get back to Jazara. And what I was going to, like, I had it planned probably like 5 turns ahead what I would need to do.
Yeah.
And it's just like, this turn is taking forever.
That's true. Yeah, especially in those kinds of moments too, yeah.
Yeah, and so the biting came out of, I guess, probably my own desire to rip someone's throat out.
I love it. That was that boat fight was in my top like 3 moments, I think, because I sat down knowing I wanted, like when I made that encounter, I knew I wanted to make something that was hard enough that you couldn't be certain everyone was going to survive. I was actually surprised that by the end of it, nobody was on your guys' side was dead. Not even the people that were on the boat, like the crew. And and I went into that with the purpose of like
Man.
Yeah, Plankman is a champ, though. Like, come on, like he is.
Plankman is a champ.
He'll go down in history. Like he belongs in the Legends of Exandria for sure. But yeah, when I sat down to make that one I purposely made because like I had tried as as I make the campaign, especially in the very beginning, like I tried to do it in stages so that you guys would experience different elements of like playing D&D. Like you guys investigated the cabin and like you tried to put some stuff together, and then you know, you were doing like you did a chase scene, so you got the idea of mechanics of like running and dashing and stuff like that. And then you did a couple of smaller fights, and then you went and like, you know, you opened trunks that were like have curses and stuff like that with the dragon trunk and the toad cave and all that kind of stuff. So I was kind of like giving you guys things
Broker
in
cave.
stages. Yeah. And just kind of like trying to introduce different elements so I'm not just bombarding you with everything at once. But that fight, when I made it, I was like, they've got it. They've gotten through a couple of fights at this point. Now I'm going to put down the serious stuff. So I wasn't sure if everybody would live at the end of it. Like, my goal was not to wipe out everybody, but I was expecting at least some of the crew to die, and you guys all survived, which I'm very glad for. But at the same time, like, that was the first time I've made like an encounter where I'm just gonna be like, I'm gonna try and kick your ass. So
that one definitely did.
Yeah, and you guys, like, that's one of my favorite things that's happened in the campaign, just because of the way you guys handled it was so good, and you guys all just stepped up like so hard, and you're just like, we've got this, we know what we're doing, we're gonna kick ass, and you did. And I love that. I loved watching you guys take it and just handling it. Like, Valkaria just got up like front and center with like the two main bad guys, and was just willing to put her squishy self just like right there. And Asha, like, in like Aaron, you could see it too, like the way you were planning everything too. But I'm just like, I had a very proud DM moment. I was like, my players are doing so well, and I was so proud, and you guys are so good. And I do, because I would have, I guess I was rolling death saving throws at one point for Jazara, and if she would have rolled poorly the whole time, I would have killed her off, and you guys would have just gone on to the campaign, just the two of you. And I knew that as I was rolling those, but I had planned ahead that the guy who threw her, what is now Jazara's, a lightning javelin, I knew I was going to target Jazara with it, but I didn't want to target Jazara with it if like the two of you were like down or like weren't there to see it or something like that, because I wanted it to be a narrative like punch in the face just a little bit. So, and that I loved the fact that it was Valkaria who was standing there up in the mix with him at that moment. And when he throws the javelin, and then her realizing it wasn't aimed at her. And that was I loved that moment, because it hits Jazara, it wiped out her hit points, and she just hits the deck. And I'm just like, that as a player for Jazara, I had a moment of like, fuck, I might kill off Jazara. Like, shit.
How did I do this, and why?
Yeah, it was like, but as a DM, I was just like, that was so narratively satisfying, and I'm just like, that was so good. I'm just like, for the story, and I'm like, this is why authors kill off characters. Like, get it now.
Kill your darlings.
This is why I get it. Okay.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, okay. But I love that boat fight. That was easily one of my favorites.
Yeah. Another favorite moment of mine is, it's very small and it's just kind of silly, but it's when we were all in Burton's Yurton.
Yeah.
And like there was just a squabble over the bathroom and who got to have the bed all to themselves, and it was just such a girls' weekend moment that it was just so wholesome, even though fisticuffs were thrown. And
and then Val have that bubble wand.
Yeah, that paint splatter wand is still in Jazara's quiver, by the way.
It better fucking stay there at the bottom.
No, Val wants to play with it.
Yeah,
but Val has so many things to play with, though.
Val does have a lot of things to play with. That's very true. I have to
shake your stick, and it'll rattle with all that crap you have on the stick.
That's true too.
It'll make the ice noise.
That's very true. She's getting more and more. But no body parts, though. Like, no actual golem parts, though. So we can all be a little glad for that.
Yeah. Yeah, y'all got in the way of that, so.
Multiple times.
got in the way of that. Just
Someone's
like
a little salty.
Stopped the theft of body parts. Yeah, sure. We'll call it got in the way of that. Sure.
Yeah. She needs the ingredients to make whatever she's gonna try and make. Without it, how's she gonna test it?
I'm glad I'm the DM, so I can put regulations on the things that you can do. Because God help us if you are ever the DM, because holy shit.
Do whatever you want, fuck it. Bend all the rules.
Oh, yeah. And I liked the Burton's Yurton scenes, because I liked, especially, like, the fight over the bed of, like, Val and Jazara, like, teaming up to try and get it from Asha, and Asha just slipping out of the room and leaving, and just closing the door, like, nope. She was waiting, just sitting in that room, waiting for this to happen, be like, you're not sneaky.
No, and she knows y'all too well to be like, I'm not getting away with this, but I'm going to cause chaos here, and then I'm going to go get what I really want out there.
Yep. Yeah, that was a really funny for me, and I love that. I love those. My favorite thing is the chaotic moments, like the frozen fish in the bra moments, or like the smearing the fish over the elf's face moments, or
also
just
one
like
of my favorites. Just
or when Val turned into a llama,
yes,
or a cactus,
or a cactus,
a llama with lamb poofy hair.
Yep. Valama.
Valama. Yeah, Valama. The first time you guys experienced wild magic, like, and Val turned into a potted plant, and just the looks on your faces when it happened was just like, excuse? What the fuck?
Val is confused. But Asha's
like,
face of like, I just walked in and my friend, all I saw was a plant! And then poof, my friend was there.
Yep.
Huh?
Just incredulous. Just
because you had just been dealing with sirens, weren't you?
Yeah, she'd been dealing with sirens. Yeah.
She's like,
It was a little too much for her at that time.
Yeah, Asha came down, was hoping for a rest after the weirdness that just happened to her, and she found Valkaria in a plant form, and just woofed right back into Valkaria.
And granted, she probably had never seen a cactus at all before, so like...
It's like, what is this weird spiky thing?
They don't grow down in the Underdark there.
No. Ani, what's one of your other favorite moments?
Oh, I don't know. They're all like a blur. It's like...
I mean, not to jump in again, but
go for
when
it.
we went shopping was pretty fucking good too.
Oh, in Selrenia, yeah, when you guys went shopping. That was fun.
Oh.
Like, that was really good because, like, you guys got to experience, like, D&D shopping for the first time. And it's a player favorite just to have a shopping episode. It always takes, like, a whole episode, and it's so much fun just to go shopping because you're just like, what weird shit am I going to find?
And then just weird magic happened in the shop, and there's some
levitated.
Poor Asha.
I conjured like a demonic version of myself that's unkillable.
Yeah, that tried to kill you. Yeah.
And then just to top it off, that was the episode where we were switching back and forth with the perspectives with Sir Goosey, just wreaking havoc in this
traumatizing
little village.
That's also one of my favorites. Is just Goosey with his little cape and butter knife, just honking someone to insanity.
Yeah, that man did have a mental breakdown because of Sir Goosington. like he traumatized a whole town just in the time it took you guys to go to a couple of places and do some shopping. He traumatized a whole group of people.
He's got years of experience of this. We're still learning.
How old do we think Sir Goosey is?
I really have no idea.
I feel like he's eternal.
He's got that, like, odd sense to him, like the way Myth does, where you're not quite sure, and a little bit of that fey magic to him, where you're just like, yeah, you're probably not like a normal goose age situation. So
yeah.
And for some reason, every time I think of Sir Goosey, and when we say Sir Goosey, all I want to do is yell out, "Odette!"
And that's a swan.
I know.
Oh, I do love it. I do love it.
That should be part of her goosey dream.
Yeah. That's how she finds like Sir Goosington in like a human form that she's willing to marry because like
With
of
that
an
haircut.
Odette situation.
With that haircut.
There
with
you
the
go.
haircut, with Derek's haircut.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking of Odette's haircut personally.
Well, she has that great wave. But Derek has that Dutch boy, like.
I was thinking of like blonde Fabio situation.
Yeah,
just
yes. In the dream, Goosey should be primo Fabio, like full romance cover Fabio.
But when he turns around, he still has a duck butt.
As he waddles away.
He wiggles. He sways back and forth. Yeah, he's got like Odette Fabio style hair and just like a duck butt, but the rest of him is like choice and just like.
And then we have to play that's the song that's all over TikTok. The from Aristocats. What's that one?
Yeah.
Geese are walking. It's like the goose step.
Dun,
The
dun,
goose
dun,
step tie.
dun, 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 dun.
It's called the goose tie, I think.
That would be good. Well, we've discovered that we put into canon, at least in a group chat format, that they were Goosey's relatives, I think. Like his
great aunt.
Something like that, yeah. So, yeah, he's got like...
Did we also throw in that he's related to Balto, like the goose in Balto?
Boris.
Boris. And he has a weird uncle named Waldo, I think it was, who's a wizard or something like that.
I hope so.
Yeah. So
Which
he's got
we
a lot
represented on Misty's. I represented on Misty's birthday gift this year.
That's true. I do have a Goose wizard shirt now. So yeah, one of Goosey's ancestors was a great and powerful wizard. So he's got some interesting answers. Every once in a while, I just make a little note of some weird goose relative, and just every once in a blue moon, there's some weird goose relatives that get added to his family tree.
It's quite the extensive family tree.
That's fair. So, one of my other favorite moments is the fish slapping exfoliation scene of Valkaria just traumatizing the fuck out of an elf when she took a frozen fish out of her bra, tried to get the toad to attack its little master by taking a frozen fish and trying to shove it into the elf's mouth. The goal was to put the frozen fish into the elf's mouth so it would try to attack the person, and she's rolled super low both times she tried it and just slowly smeared it over the face in a weird, creepy, slow fish scale exfoliant. And that elf is so glad they died. Just, whoo! Because that was hilarious. That was easily one of the top most hilarious moments in the campaign. And it just you guys have had a lot of serious moments since then, and you haven't had as much opportunity for just bullshittery. But I love those moments so much. Val hasn't really had a chance to go wild with her mage hand in a while, so we gotta set something up for her so she can be wild with mage hand. So because I love it. Yeah, it's so much fun.
I need to actually remember to use it.
It's fair. Every once in a while, it'll be a day or so after, or when I'm editing the podcast episode or something, and I'll be like, oh shit, Jazara could have used this thing that she has. And I'll be like, damn it. There's every once in a while, I'll listen to it and I'll be like, oh, you know what? Damn. Not very often, but sometimes I just come across things and I'm like, huh. Okay, I should read her character sheet right before I do this. So, but yeah, luckily
that kind of thing's helpful.
Yeah,
right.
Luckily, Jazz doesn't have a whole bunch of spells for the most part. So like, and I didn't want a character that had like a whole bunch of spells specifically because I'm dealing with like the whole world and then Jazara on top of it. So
And her ever-growing list of spells, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's like I didn't need her ever-growing list of spells to come into play at the same time. So Jazara, I think even at max level, Jazara can only have up to 5th level spells, I believe what it is. But I don't think she'll get that far because when I multi-class her, she won't take very many more levels in Ranger. She'll go into Fighter after that, so they won't get any spells for that. So, but yeah. So, you guys have any more fun moments or any weird or interesting questions you'd like to ask your DM?
One of my other favorite moments was a very recent moment, but it's not funny. It's when they're shopping on the ships.
Okay.
And Val, who's so used to just people
Getting what she wants.
Not just getting what she wants, but people knowing her, like knowing that, just like that she's a decent person.
Mm-hmm.
So when she tries to go into her little pocket, like her pocket of holding or whatever she's got, to pull out one of the vials and give it to the merchant who's just been helpful.
Yeah.
Like, swords are now in her face.
Yeah.
And she's just like, I was just gonna do something nice.
Yeah,
And then,
it was
Jazz pulls her away, and Val's just like, what?
Yeah, it was a very different moment for Valkaria. I'm glad to know that you enjoyed the moment as like a player because I wasn't quite sure how that landed at the time because I was just kind of like, I don't know if like that was a little much or not. So.
No, because like it's reality, and like no one outside of the nameless city, knows who she is.
Yeah.
Or when they see her walking down the street in the city, they know that she's not just gonna up and harm them.
Yeah. Yeah,
so it's like it was very weird, like, and surreal for her to just be like, people really don't trust what I say.
Yeah, it's a very different situation for Valkaria. Like she's never had to experience that before, and she's from birth been in a situation where she like has authority, and that is both a pressure and like a gift in a lot of ways. And I think she's learning now that she's outside of that authority, what that means and what
she's in the unknown. She is an unknown, and for whatever reason that she doesn't know about, or no, she doesn't. I'm guessing they know, but like the second someone mentions Underdark, everyone thinks that we're part of
Lolth.
What was it?
The cult of Lolth, yeah.
It's like,
yeah, you guys would know about the idea of Lolth and everything like that, because like you would because Lolth existed before the calamity.
Yeah,
so, like that was a problem beforehand. Yeah.
So it's like the whole we have. Can I explain? No. Okay. Yeah. Swords. I'm leaving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was one of those moments where I did it because I wanted the idea of like actual consequences for the actions that happen. So, and those people are so distrustful. He's so distrustful.
That's an understatement.
That's an understatement. And like I think it helps to understand it if you know the situation that's been going on between Xhorhas and the Dwendalian Empire up until very recently, and that they were at a very delicate stalemate of not going to war and pretty much bordered on war for a very long time. And it was a very delicate little peace treaty that ended up coming together to broker peace between them. But they sat at the edge of war for like a really long time, and it was not going to go well. So like the people of Xhorhas don't trust anyone, and they're very isolationist too. So, and it's very interesting. So it's been a very delicate peace between Xhorhas and the Dwendalian Empire for like 10 plus years at that point. So, but but like it's not like you guys know that. So
yeah, we're just like, what? Why?
Yeah,
but it allows for some character growth.
That's true.
I enjoy it.
And some opportunities for character exploration too, as you like kind of get more into like the role playing aspects of it too.
Mm-hmm.
So any Any questions or anything you guys got, or any other moments?
Questions, I guess. I would like to hear a little bit more, I guess, about Jorhas and the Dwendalian Empire and what the fuck? I mean, obviously you just went into how long it's been an issue, but you didn't tell us what the issue was.
So they've been on the border of war because the Dwendalian Empire is essentially a bunch of psycho xenophobic assholes, more or less. They don't allow all of the gods, for one thing. They have a very strict which gods they approve of. And the ones that they don't approve of, you're not allowed to worship in the Dwendalian Empire. They're very like pro-human, like standard elf, like high elf and stuff like that, and a couple of the other races and stuff like that. But they're pretty much against anything that they consider like other. And the Dwendalian Empire is very large, and it has a very large military. They also have a very elite magical like a school basically. And the school is, well, they have this group that they train, and the magical academy that's in the Dwendalian Empire is called the Soltris Academy, and it's in their very massive city. And they have these like elite magical like Navy SEAL ish kind of people, and they're called Voltstruckers. And that's the word I had to look up because I wasn't sure how to say it. But they train these people for assassination, for retrieval, and for like a whole bunch of other stuff. But they start when you're young and just more or less brainwash you. There's a couple like instances where they make you murder your own family so you don't have any connections to people, and like they brainwash you to the point that you think that's okay and that's what your duty is and things like that. So they're insane.
Sounds like every cult I've ever heard of.
So they're something else, but they have a very elite, very like powerful magic school and system, and they have like a council of like people who are elite magic users and things like that. For Ani, because she's been watching the Legend of Vox Machina with me, Delilah Briarwood was one of them. She was one of their
yes.
She worked for the Soldiers Academy and all that stuff. So, yes, they're very like xenophobic and everything like that of people who are other. And then there's on the other side there's Jorhas, which their land is a lot different, and it's more like harsh and almost wastelandy in some places, and like it doesn't grow things like flowers and stuff like that, and it's a very harsh environment to live in. But drow, full-blooded drow, as you guys know from living in the Nameless City, can't stand full sunlight because they're people are originally from the Underdark, and so they have like pockets of darkness that cover like large areas and stuff like that, so it's always night in certain areas and things like that. And one of the issues, like they've so the Jorhas and the Dwendalian Empire had been going at it for quite a while. There's a mountain range that kind of separates them, which is one of the only reasons they haven't gone straight to war. But like the Dwendalian Empire will try to like take things from Jorhas, and like the people of Jorhas will come over and try to like take things from the Dwendalian Empire, and they use like the tunnels that still exist from the old Underdark to like sneak over and like grab things, and they've fought before in like a couple of different instances, but the Dwendalian Empire hates them, even as there's this very delicate peace that's going on. And the lead up to a possible war and then the creation of that peace is actually the plot of Critical Role's second campaign. And so they had a whole campaign based around whether or not there would be a war and like trying to stop it and everything like that. So and they were successful, and like they did manage to stop it, and there was no war. And the piece that was bookered was very fine and very delicate, and they ended up not saying like a lot of things that happened just to keep that peace. And so it's still, you guys are in a situation where it's existed, the treaty and like the peace and everything like that, but it's like the Cold War, but if the United States and Russia had shared a border, basically. And you kind of go like, Okay.
Ah,
Great.
okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
Makes a little,
So like,
makes a little
it's like
sense, yeah.
there's like a peace treaty that's happened, but it would be about as uncomfortable as, you know, like if the United States and Russia shared a border, basically. So there's a lot of distrust on both sides of people coming from either direction, and it's going to be very interesting for you guys because you look like you're from Jorhas, but you're not from Jorhas.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Trouble.
Oh yeah.
Trouble follows us wherever we go. Yay.
And
Why
sometimes
is
you
it
create it on
always
your
you
own.
three?
You three.
Mm-hmm. And it really is. And sometimes it's just me throwing trouble at you because you're like, here you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Anything else you guys would like to know about? The planet, the history, the other continents that are there.
I mean,
It's almost
all
like
I've
there's
seen
so
of
much
the
of it.
I know there's so much. Like all I've seen of the continent so far is snow and dragon ice cave.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. I think I've
More
shown you guys a map of Wildmount itself, and then there's other
Mhm.
continents
Yeah.
besides that one. There's a couple of them. So this is Exandria. You guys are on Wildmount up here on these islands. And then this is Jorhas on the right, but and then the Dwendalian Empire here.
Is
The
that Rosanna in the red? What's
it's
the red?
not far from there, but that's a
Okay.
forest.
That's forest. Okay.
All of this giant thing is what you guys are on, and that's Wildmount. And then to the left of that is Taldore, which is where the Legend of Vox Machina takes place.
Where in Taldore is Percy's house?
Whitestone is up here in like the northern area.
Also in snow.
Also ill.
Also in snow, yeah. It is
The Neverfields, yeah.
There it is. It's right here. It's up in the northern part.
Whitestone. There it is, yeah.
Yeah, it's actually not that far from the border with Wildmount. So, and then like south of Wildmount is like this area of islands called the Shattered Teeth. And to my knowledge, that is what's left over of either something that was floating or something that was sunk into the ocean. Might have been a continent that they sunk into the ocean, or it was something that was
like
floating
during the calamity, or like after.
Yeah, I believe it was during the calamity, and they threw it into they either threw it into the ocean or they drowned like the place that was there before. I'll have to look, but yeah, they did do that. Then there's Isilra, which is all this more blank one that's all the way over here to the left. That is where civilization on Exandria began. Like that is the continent. All of the civilization began. And when the gods came to Exandria, they first created life there in Isilra. And there's like what they call like I believe it's called the Dawn City. And there's a city in there that is where the very first civilizations of Exandria came into being long before the calamity. So that is something you guys would know, that, you know, Isilra exists if there's assuming that these writings have survived over the last couple of 100 years. But considering how long some of your guys' family members live, probably. I think in Asha's family, she's like the third generation, and her grandmother was alive pre-calamity. So like there's definitely like a stretch of like information that's there. But yeah, so that's where like a civilization first began a couple thousand years ago. And then the Marquette, which is to the south, and that is a odd combination of like desert and gigantic pointy mountains, kind of like if you took Australia and then that some of those really funky mountain ranges in China where they're just like pillars basically, and just kind of put them together. Yeah. So but yeah, so it's kind of like like there's only like 4 continents and then a series of islands for the most part in Exandria. But yeah, you guys have there's a whole world out there, and you've seen some islands.
Now, you've probably answered this before, but clearly we've learned that Valkaria's knowledge of magic is limited.
Mhm.
Because is there like a restricted section that she knows about, that it was never been told, like she's always been told you can't go there, you can't ever learn this stuff, or like it's just
But why would
doesn't
that stop
exist.
her?
Exactly.
I think Valkaria has learned most of her magic directly from her father. Her father is the most powerful magic user that she knows. He takes the time throughout her whole life. He's been the one to teach her magic and spells and things like that, because mechanic wise, you're both sorcerers, so you're learning to hone your magic from him. And your magic has a lot of similarities in it, though yours has a bit more potential than his does, and leans a little more. His leans more towards fire. Yours leans a little more towards cold and like shadows and stuff like that. But you learn most of your spells and your magic from them. Any spell that you cast and stuff like that, for the most part, you could say you learn them from your father. If you want to say, like, for role-playing purposes, like you learned Mage Hand just from, a youth full of like mischief and stuff like that, and wanting to do things like that. You've manifested that yourself. As for like magics that you can't do, I'm sure as you were being taught magic, your father laid the ground rules of and just kind of told you this is what magic is, and this is what magic does, and this is how your magic works, and this is what you can do with it. And you probably didn't have a lot of reason to like question him, because you were taught there are different people have different abilities with magic. Like you would have had Asha as a direct example, and her magic comes from the Moonweaver, so she has a different source of magic than you do. But you probably didn't have a lot of reason to question that maybe like the origins of how you get your magic might be slightly different than your father's, which might result in different types of magic. And probably didn't have a lot of reason to like question if there was beyond what your father was teaching you, because he's so powerful, and he knows, like you would have been able to look at him and just see somebody who is like supreme sorcerer in all things, and like he probably never encountered magic that he just wouldn't know something about. So like you could have started questioning other types of magic, as you've seen other people use different types of magic in the city. Like, that Jazara's family does a lot of magical experimentation and stuff like that, and they create new spells, so the creation of new magic's possible. And maybe that's how Valkaria got Mage Hand and stuff like that. So it's possible to make new spells, but your father would have kept you away from the spell creation areas of like the way Jazara's family does it and stuff like that, because those people and that like elite guard of people and group of spellcasters that make those spells don't interact with the rest of the world so much. They talk a lot directly with him, and then the people, and some of the people, mostly the head of their own family and the heir, but they don't do a lot of interacting with like the rest of the world, especially when talking about their magic. It's all very secret and restrictive and stuff like that. So making spells is definitely something that Val probably could be interested in before you guys left the city, but it would have been extremely hard for you to try to find anything out about it, because even Jazara, who lives there, isn't allowed in these buildings and these rooms and stuff like that, and they're like sealed magically, so that anyone who doesn't have the right magical signature can't go into them, so you can't go sneaking in and stealing stuff. So probably might have been something that Valkaria would have been like trying to learn about, and maybe something that her and Jazz like did some little sneaky eavesdropping and stuff like that, but probably didn't get anywhere. And most of like the forbidden magical texts are either kept locked away by your father or by these people whose job it is to make new spells.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So Val has entered an entirely new world of finding out there's a whole shit ton more magic than she thought. Because the most prominent magical families are Valkaria's family and Asha's family, that are the most upfront with, using magic on a regular basis. So
okay. Yeah. Val doesn't have anything that can like astral project, right?
No.
Okay.
What kind of astral projecting would you want to do? She says reluctantly.
It just popped into my head, like our city is under siege, no idea what's going on, but my first thought was not try to send a piece of me to see if everyone's okay. It's I want to torment the other fucking heir.
Your first thought is to torment a 15-year-old child instead of checking on whether or not your parents are alive.
Does that surprise you? Because I don't feel like it should at all.
It should not. It really should not. I will say there is a spell that you can learn in the next couple of levels, I believe. And it's called Sending. And it lets you send a message to anyone that is on the same plane of existence you are.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And that's probably the closest you'll get to, like, projecting something. And to be
totally
fair,
fine, because she can send him fucking messages and sounds randomly, and he's like, what the fuck is going on?
It has a limit of 25 words, but it does include sounds, and he can respond, but he doesn't necessarily know where they're coming from.
That's great. I like that.
So there's that. And you can send it to people you've met or people you haven't met but have been described to you in enough detail that you can connect your magic to it. So yeah, you can torment people you've never even fucking met. So it's just like have somebody really describe the king of the Dwendalian Empire to you and just fucking go ham. So yeah,
he just starts, throwing words in his head. It's like, what the fuck is going on?
Just really hammer home the idea that he's going crazy. So yeah, sure. You could totally do that. So
yay.
I worry about telling you there's an entire group of pirates that exists in south of Wildmount. An elite, very dangerous island full of murder pirates.
Well, don't sell it that way, Misty.
But can we befriend them? Because Stormhound? Come on, Stormhound. Stormhound, whatever. Pirates.
You know,
he wasn't really a murder pirate, though.
No, but still pirate.
Well, if you guys get that far south and maybe steal a boat, none of you know how to sail a boat, to be fair.
No,
so.
And Val gets seasick.
That's true.
She did not do well on the open ocean.
She did not. No. She did eventually get her sea legs under her, but she did not. She did not do well those first few days at sea. So, anything else you lovely ladies would like to know?
I think I generally do a pretty good job of asking questions when I need to.
Yeah. But like, there's anybody you've met that you would like to know more about, or just any of the little things, or about the city, or anything like that.
Okay, here's one that's kind of odd. So in the fight where Val became briefly engaged, we were helping the commander and her subordinates rescue their griffins.
Yeah.
Do they only keep the griffins for transportation purposes, or are they pets? What?
It's a little bit of like the way you keep horses. Like you get attached. They are pets in a sense, but like they could also be for like transportation purposes. And to come on and off of the boats, they tend to use the griffins so they don't always have to go by foot. And it also helps for like expedient like retreats and things like that. Each ship that's there, and there's 3 of them, each ship spends about 6 months there in their spot, so they'll rotate out. So they don't always require their griffins to be there, especially like they let their young, when they're having young, go, and they let them live like and raise their young until they get to a certain age, and then they'll go and they'll bring them back. And most of the time they don't even have to go get them. The griffins will come back because they know that's how that works. But it gives them a chance to have their own little family unit and like teach their young like the basic survival skills that it needs. And then when the baby gets old enough, they bring come back to the fort and all that stuff too. And if for some reason all 3 of the ships were going to leave, they would go out and get their griffins and bring them home so they could come back home. So because there's large fields in Jorhas, and that's where they prefer to be. So
okay, no, because first of all, because Asha kind of wants one, and
of course she does.
she's like, they're cute. It's a baby.
I will say I have a couple of things you guys are going to encounter that one Ani's gonna like a lot, and then there's another one that you're both really gonna like, and that Misty herself wants to own one because I want it.
Because I want it.
Because I want it. But I do have a couple of very interesting things you guys will encounter that you will want to adopt and take home with you, both in real life and in the game. So,
all right,
that is the problem. Is that I want to adopt everything,
every creature.
It's gonna be like, instead of the Nameless City campaign, it's going to be the zoo, the traveling zoo.
The white woman adoption agency.
The white woman adoption agency.
Like the guy on Instagram.
Oh, just like the adoption agency, just like you put a white woman there and she'll have that thing over there purring in no time and take it home. Yeah.
Oh, little Bentley. He's so cute.
It's okay that he's a panther. It's fine. He just needs love.
Do you see? Right? Do you hear him purring?
It's like, I think that's growling. It's like, no, it's a big cat purr. Big cats can't purr.
Yes, they can.
And then the big ones that go just make the tiny baby noise, they're great too.
That's cute too.
I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, but I do know something that is coming for Valkaria that is going to just be so good.
That's true. That's true.
It sincerely.
Yes.
I mean it. I practically can't sleep over it because I think it's going to be amazing.
Oh,
and here Anna's thinking it's like going to be the worst thing in her life, and I'm like, no, girl, this is going to be.
I mean, it depends. It could be, depending on what happens.
This is true. Yeah. This is true.
Yeah. So, and for the record, I did send Erin a series of pictures and made her select some stuff. So
this is a joint effort as well.
Yeah. So, like, and I will not be mailing you a physical version of any of this.
Oh, that's true. There will not be a physical version, but I'm excited.
Yay!
When? Well, I guess we can't ask that question. Never mind. I can ask it. Misty will not answer it.
Fair enough.
She can probably tell you when I'm not around.
Yeah. That's why private chats were invented.
True. But all of that will come out in the...
Look at her being worried.
I mean, that's... you will see the results of that during the special, long session that we do. So,
okay.
Yeah, so that is coming for you sooner rather than later. So that is happening rather soon. So,
and Misty, you'll have to give me we'll have to come up with a signal and maybe a signal word it's coming, and it just has to be completely innocuous. And,
there you go. Just I'm gonna text you just incoming in all capital
incoming
letters.
Oh, please do. Oh my god.
Oh, it'll be fun.
And I will try not to ruin the surprise by going.
Oh no!
I will say, for the special episode, I was telling Ani this the other day when we were recording. I wrote a lot for what's going to happen. I think it's up to 20-something pages.
Mm-hmm. Whoa, girl!
Yeah. She's written more than she's written for her fucking class.
Yeah, and I wrote 20-something pages for that. It's not done as of this moment that we're recording. It's almost done. I will have to use more than one website for some stuff, but as we go through it. But yeah, I wrote a lot. I will when we were talking earlier about the Moonweaver and giving a really visual depiction of everything. I went a little ham in that direction because I want you guys to have really good visuals for some of this of what's going to happen. So I wrote what happens like in like of what the initial thing that you see in these moments are, and it's very visual, and I think it'll create a good picture for like you guys, but also for like the listeners too. But yeah, it's a lot of mechanical stuff too. A lot of it is notes for me for how the mechanics of a lot of these things are going to work, and yeah, so hopefully you won't get too traumatized. So
Y'all have to gauge that one because I have no idea what the fuck is coming at me. So,
oh, the notes are not necessarily for what's coming for you. The notes is what's coming for the party during the extra long session that we're going to do. The thing that's coming for you is just a single part of that 20 plus page document. So, yeah. So, but I'm really glad that it's like we're recording like the extra long episodes. Like we'll split it into two, so it's 2 different episodes. But just because I think it'll be more fun to experience like it in one like longer experience. So, and give you guys time so you don't feel rushed while doing it as well. So, because like even if you don't wrap like this area of the story up in those 2 episodes, yeah, that's fine. It's just probably more fun if you do like a decent amount of it in the one recording. So, and you don't have to remember a bunch of it like a month later. So,
Okay.
Yeah. So,
because Gloria, she do be tired.
Gloria be tired, but Gloria just spent a bunch of time writing D&D notes, so Gloria has a right to be tired. So
yes.
Yeah. So, but you guys have done like a lot of serious stuff recently, and this is the opposite of all of that. So it's holy shit, that's a lot, but in a good way. So, so in a good, non-stressful, mostly, partially, kind of.
Kind of.
I guess it does kind of depend on how you approach it, but yeah. So I'm really looking forward to it. I've been looking forward to it for quite a while. But yeah, you guys are about to leave the north and pretty soon, within the next like session or 2. So that'll be fun because like your guys's like beginning stages are over or coming to a close at the very least. And you guys are really getting into the like the meat of everything at this point. So I'm very
it's
much
only been a year.
It's only been a year. Yeah, maybe every few months we'll have to have like a day where we just record like a longer special additional episode or something if you guys want to get through this at not of 5 years or something. So but you know, you guys have been doing really well and it's been a lot of fun. I will get towards the end of this episode with giving you some fun little weird tidbits of things that I've behind the scenes stuff. Creating Sir Goosington was a whim that I did like not that long before the episode that Sir Goosington was in. And I'm just like, what can I do to like torment you guys? And then just like, I was really playing with the idea of some kind of weird stalkery Duolingo owl because that's like a homebrew mechanic I've seen. And like there's a homebrew class where your warlock patron is the Duolingo owl. I love it. I saw it years ago and I was just like, I want something bizarre but that follows you around like that mechanic did. And then I played the Untitled Goose Game. Yes. And so Sir Goosington became a combination of like the stalkery elements of the Duolingo owl subclass and the Untitled Goose Game and Kuzco from the Emperor's New Groove. So you can see those cursed origins.
I never would have anticipated the Duolingo owl.
Yeah.
Now, I have another question.
Sure.
Are we ever going to see something happen from the Beware Raccoons?
That's entirely possible. It really does depend on what happens in the next session. So, yeah.
Okay. Aaron's
Make
very
good
concerned.
Choices. Make good choices.
Beware raccoons.
Let's make poor decisions.
No. Whoa. Let's make raccoon-themed decisions.
Trash panda.
Trash panda. Oh yeah, that'll really depend on what happens to you guys in the next session, whether or not we'll wear raccoons. So
That feels like that is most definitely a threat. It doesn't just feel like it is a threat.
Maybe I should leave myself a note just to make sure I beware raccoons.
Raccoon.
My mom's gonna see this note and just be like, "What the fuck?" Just a big old beware raccoons sign. Just gonna put that right there. Yep, there we go. Okay. Which, by the way, some of my other D&D notes include a hot goose soda and hallucination soda, just for the record. And
hot goose soda. Why is the soda hot?
That's fun. And then, of course, hockey. Just sticking out, it says hockey. Yep. And Ani's ring of returning that she wants. So to bring her quarterstaff. She wants a ring that she can use to attach like a ruin to the ring and her staff, so she can throw it and get it brought back to her Thor's hammer style. So.
Okay.
Which I did not forget, and like that is in the works as well. Yay. So other little tidbitty stuff. For anyone
you should
who
totally
does
put the you should totally put the note of beware raccoons in your window. So when
as the maintenance staff walks by, I'm like, that house has raccoons. Okay, and I'm just gonna knock on my door. It's just like, you have raccoons. I'm like, no, I have friends.
My friends
are raccoons. Yes,
I'm friends with some
confusing
raccoons.
Them further.
Yeah.
No, they don't live here. Mm-hmm. They live in California. Those raccoons.
Oh yes, my raccoons. They are wild things, to be fair. So. The only other tidbit I think I will say is that your guys' characters, like the very base origin, at least of the classes, came from an Instagram group chat where I had assigned everybody a character class many eons ago when we were first talking about D&D and learning D&D, and I told you guys I thought Aaron was a Twilight cleric and I thought Ani was a shadow sorceress, and you guys kind of built Valkaria and Asha off of that. So
nice.
Yeah. Nice. It was a very long time ago. It happened in an Instagram chat that happened, and I told you guys about because I was thinking about it. I was just like, what classes would they be? And then proceeded to do so much research until I found something I thought matched. And I'm just like, yeah, no, it's these. So, yeah. But that's where that originally comes from. Anything else you guys would like to say before we wrap up the episode?
Just say thank you for being the best DM.
You're welcome. I love having the best players in the whole wide world.
Because, we always show up.
That's valid. I can't really hold a session without you both, so I don't know how people who have like 8 players at a table do that at all. Especially
I have friends who live not that far away, and they host like 8 to 10 person, maybe probably 8 person like campaign every Thursday. I'm like, y'all have a child, like a 4-month-old. How do you do this?
I have no idea how people do that.
How do you get that many people to come over every fucking Thursday? Or Friday? Yeah.
That's really a luck of aligning schedules with that one. Yeah. And everybody better hope nothing about their situations ever change. Because dang.
I've been begging them. I'm like, next time you make a new campaign, please invite me.
You're not allowed to go on Thursdays, so we have recordings, young lady.
No, I know. But if it's Fridays, I can do that. It's fine.
Yeah. But yeah, I would really enjoy one day in the future playing in a campaign where we're all players and somebody else is the DM, because I would love to watch other people handle this insanity. Like the chaos of like frozen fish in a bra. Like, yeah, no, go ahead. I'd like to see how somebody deals with that.
Has a certain level of understanding of us as humans. But yeah, like I think there are things where you can like there's just like game nights where you can do a one-off.
Yeah. There's ones you can do, you can join online. Ariel does them sometimes, is where you can just go and sign up to be a part of a one-off online.
Nah, I want to do people I know.
It's just like, but then you wouldn't be able to subject unsuspecting people to rock.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true.
And like the chaos, like if I wasn't the DM, the truly chaotic characters I could just play as Sir Goosington. And just go from there. Like, I could just be Sir Goosington. Like, that would be fine. So, yeah. You guys better hope you never see me in a truly unrestrained D&D setting. So, watch me go feral.
I think that'd be awesome.
But yeah, this has been a truly an awesome time of getting to do this campaign with you guys. Like, you've picked up D&D so fast. And you guys have learned it so quickly and so well, and it's been very impressive. This is my first effort as a DM as well, and definitely the route it's going, it'll be the longest campaign I've ever done. So I'm, I think, especially at the beginning, it was a learning curve for everybody, and then just kind of trying to figure out the balances after that. But I think you guys have done so well, and one day you're gonna be your own D&D players. You're gonna go off and play with other DMs. But
only if you come.
Yeah. We'll go to other campaigns only if you come with us.
Fair. But it is an absolute honor that no matter how many of the campaigns you play, it was the very first dungeon master you ever had. So the very first campaign.
Number one DM.
Number one DM.
And I could definitely have asked for better players to be the first players in my very first time as a DM. So, but I also have two of the most awesome friends a person can have too. So it's not really a surprise. So.
You're so nice.
Yes. And I love creating things for you guys. I'll just sit there and I'm just it's so hard not to just give you everything. And I'm just I want you to have these. Here you go.
I want to share. Yeah.
The things I've made for you guys that you just won't encounter for a while. It's one of the reasons I'm really looking forward to the extra long sessions that we're going to do, because so many things I've made for you. And I'm just gonna be hey, it's shiny for you.
Please have this.
Please have this thing that I've had on the back burner waiting for you since last year. Thank you.
God, that must be torture.
Knowing the full plot of this campaign and not being able to tell fucking anybody, it's just my mom has listened to so many weird plot details about this campaign and she has no fucking idea what I'm talking about.
No.
I'm just
what you no you know what you should do? You should totally start messaging my tattoo artist on Instagram. He will give you so many fucking ideas. This guy's hilarious. He fucking loves Dungeons and Dragons. He's always the DM, never the player. So he's
the eternal DM. 'Tis a thing. But yes, yeah. I tell my mom different things all the time, and just and I made something for at some point in the future, and I'm I made this thing. And it was supposed to be really nice for them, and then I added murder. just leaving me yeah, you're my kid. I'm yeah.
Yes,
so,
mother.
Yeah.
Mother.
So that's something to look forward to off in the distance. So murder could be around any corner. So.
No, it usually is. I just have to remember that orange is not my color. Okay.
Orange is not my color, yeah.
It's true.
Fair enough. That's fair. I can't go get pumpkin spice when I'm in jail, and that honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have my chai pumpkin today.
Me too. It's the first day of pumpkin. So yeah.
First day of pumpkin.
I put it on the podcast.
Yes, we are recording this a little bit in advance. So it was the very first day of pumpkin spice out at Starbucks, and your two resident Starbucks weirdos who like went to Starbucks this morning. So
and got the same damn thing, modified but same thing.
Yeah, that's valid. So I got a pumpkin chai. I don't usually get chai though, but I got a pumpkin chai. My mom's is literally the exact same thing, just instead of cinnamon dolce, I put pumpkin in it. So
nice.
But yeah, so thank you guys for joining us on this like look back at our campaign. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of chaos, and some serious moments like sprinkled in there. So can look forward to the character growth and the story progression that's going to happen moving forward. And yeah, I've very much enjoyed all of the campaign with you guys, and it's just so much fun. And it's easily the best D&D campaign I've gotten to be a part of, so it's fun. But that is entirely the responsibility of the two of you. So look forward to some chaos, some creations, and a hell of a lot more of Sir Goosington. And and for the record, just as a small tidbit right here at the end, I do practice some of the weird character voices of people you're going to encounter, and I'm really glad that like people can't hear me do it. So because you're going to encounter some things, and like Valkaria's fiance's voice was truly just pulled out of the depths of hell somewhere. So, but yeah, so there's that. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you to my lovely players for being the wonderful and amazing people that you are. And hopefully I won't kill off your characters. So
please don't kill off our
characters. Here's hoping.
One of our sessions would be like how to make a backup character. So whoever dies has to play as Sir Goosington. So how about this? If Val dies, you have to play as Sir Goosington. If Asha dies, she has to play as Myth. So
okay, that's fair.
That sounds a little more plausible, I will say.
That's fair. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Tune in next week for more fuckery because we have some serious questions and concerns.